Hi, Filter here. Oh, I kind of didn't want to do this, but I gotta do this. And it's about Star Trek Discovery. Now, I'm going to answer a couple of questions. One from Robert Tauser, and he says STD is no way perfect, but I kind of like it anyways. It has a good cast, interesting story, and lots of potential. Even TNG, The Next Generation, was kind of crappy first two seasons. You guys forgot that. No, we haven't forgotten that. I'll be honest with you. We haven't forgotten that. Granted, uh, sorry about that. Granted, during the first two seasons, or really just even the first season, there were minor inconsistencies, but not all that noticeable. In Star Trek: The Next Generation, there were some interesting character arcs. Um, unres- it's actually an unresolved story arc that's in the first generation with the little parasite creatures and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, it was very consistent. It jumped ahead. Now, the problem with Star Trek Discovery, again, continuity. Emergency force fields a century before they should be there. Or, to be more precise, if you time it from the launch of the Enterprise B, where they had emergency force fields, or at least those force fields, it's a good 25, 26, maybe 25 to 30 years too early for that technology to exist. That being one of them. Um, Again, the Klingons, uh, the the decision to make it whether it's in a Prime or the Abrams verse. Again, nobody would have a problem with this. There's at least three interesting points that people could realize when it comes to Star Trek Discovery. One, if they would have put it maybe 100 years after Next Generation, that would make sense. Would honestly make sense if they did that. And also, instead of the Klingons, how about the Herc? They seem like a more interesting alien species that's mentioned but never seen. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Herc were the ones trying to invade the Federation? I think that would have been a good idea. Secondly, is the pre-production publicity beforehand. Let's be honest. When you hear about the people being fired or quitting before the release of something, it doesn't give you, shall we say, confidence. It doesn't give you confidence. And then add to the fact of the more political, blatant political stance that the people on that show took, and you just pretty much alienated a good amount of your fans and potential fans. And let's be honest, when they decide to say, oh, these Klingons, they're representative of Trump supporters, that's kind of like, think about it. There are probably guys who voted, men and women who voted for Trump and like Star Trek, and to suddenly be cast in this light as these evil bad guys that eat their captain, the captain of the ship and shit like that. Again, it just doesn't set terribly well with potential fans, longtime viewers, and the like. It just doesn't. What I'm really trying to say is, look, this show left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. The whole thing with Sarek, holographic, the technology being there, the girl with the robot, with the thing on her head too. I don't even know why she's even wearing it, to be honest with you. Um, the, the character. Here's the thing. This show could actually work if you would have gotten rid of the character of Michael Bynum. Keep the actress, but at least make her a little less of a potential Mary Sue. I mean, this is one of the things that really have a lot of people when it comes to Star Trek Voyager. You look at something like Star Trek Voyager, and basically you had seven of Mary Sue, seven of nine. She saves the day all the damn time. It got a little annoying. Even I, again, a longtime fan, began to notice how she was practically saving the day. You know, who wouldn't want to have a really hot woman save your ass? But hey, that's that's the way it is. But we shouldn't. Again, if you like this, Mr. Tozer, good on you. Good on you. But for someone like me, and call me a Star Trek purist, I just couldn't get into it. I tried looking at every angle that I could. But then when they showed their D7s, which looked nothing like the ships, and this weird whole altered timeline stuff, it just doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well. I mean, think about it. The first episode, they're not going to send a probe. They're going to put a woman in a suit and send her out there. Really? Really? An admiral that says stay there instead of like get out of there. We don't want any trouble with them. There was just so many things about this show. I mean, the depiction of Harry Mudd is is just off. Holodecks before they should. Let me put you in this perspective. In in Encounter at Fair Point, Star Trek Next Generation, first episode, Riker is walking around the Enterprise, and he talks about the holodeck, and the way he talks about it as if it's something new. The same reaction in the Big Goodbye, in which Picard does that thing where he goes into the holodeck. He literally is amazed by the technology that's in there. It indicates it is something new, a 24th century invention. Okay, it's new to them, and like I said, but yet they're going to shove all this stuff in the 23rd century before Kirk, Spock, and all this stuff. And again, just the same as before Kirk and Spock were on the Enterprise. Well, at least in the case of Kirk, I mean, if they said 10 years before Kirk took command of the Enterprise, you know. And then you have the again I've mentioned before, the Constitution class is the most advanced vessel in the fleet by this time, and not one Constitution class shows up to this battle. You figure it would be there, or at least three of them would be there by this time. Three of the 12, the original 12, would be ready and willing and to do some battle, but it's not shown. Let's see. I'm going to try and answer a couple more questions here. Uh, um, uh, let's see. Like I said, if you guys like it, then you guys like it. Let's see what the channel I could do is okay. I said DC to create an alternate timeline. Level of Star Trek, but this is a disaster. Yeah. Gene Roddenberry had it right. Diversity was his way. Okay. Uh, Sorry if I'm taking some too much time here. I want to kind of answer a couple of questions. Oh, the other thing about him taking more of a shine to Michael, the character of Michael, than his own son. unless in this timeline his son is dead. I don't know how they're going to explain this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, J.J. Abrams kind of filled in the gap with the reason why he turned down the Vulcan Science Academy. I'd like to go by that as maybe something that happened in the Prime universe also, that was the case where he just said screw that noise, you know, about the whole human thing, him being half human. Let's see. Why did I have to change Klingons? Yeah, the Klingons. Uh, let's see. uh, Sasumia said I can't wait until it's canceled. Harry Mudd. Okay. Like I said, let me go back to what I was saying. Um, at the end of the day, if you dig Star Trek Discovery, good for you. Again, Star Trek purists like myself and others find this entire show very tedious, very not. How can I put it? Just, just not Trek. Okay, it could be any other science fiction show, and I guess we would probably watch it. Actually, probably not. Now that I think about it, because again, the characters just seem so blah. The Michael Bynum character could be been in more depth instead of going off to run to have a long distance call with their adopted dad to figure out what to do. Could you imagine Riker doing that? Captain, I know we're about to face off the Romulans, but let me call my dad and ask him a few questions. And again, the character it only focuses on one character. A lot of people have pointed this out. It focuses on one character, not everybody else, just one character. It's just this one person. And the people that wrote it actually honestly think that there hasn't been a black commander or a female commander or somebody in charge. Like they're the first ones to do it. Well, I guess that's all I got to say about this for now. So consider this my semi last. Actually, I'm not going to even call it that. Just consider it my response to people who like Star Trek Discovery. So, I'm Filter. Good night, y'all.